Coming at you from a bulletproof bunker just outside Celestia's castle, it's Equestria Redacted, and I'm your host, Ephrom Josine. Now, we don't know, well, actually, a lot of things. There are a lot of questions we just can't answer. What's the meaning of life? How did life start? We have a lot of ideas, but, we just can't be certain. But I'll tell you what we do know. We do know that MLP is coming back on August 4th, 2018. But until then, I have no episodes to review to start this show off. So, I don't know how to begin these episodes. But anyway, I figured we'd actually kind of start this episode by talking about kind of an old friend of Ephrom Josine, or friend in giant quotations. But I think first I really need to address, and I know I address this basically every week, but just how annoying my cameras are. I know it's really one of those things I talk about all the time, but I can't stress it enough. You see, I tried recording this episode on a laptop camera, and it kept freezing up. It honestly kept freezing up. So now I have to use this camera, and I'm genuinely worried if I look at it wrong, it will explode. But anyway, now let's move on to the friend of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, meet, or if you're not a newcomer, possibly re-meet, or you know what I mean, Misanthropony. You see, Misanthropony, back when I first found him, was really just a pony reviewer, and he still is to a great extent. However, he has also grown a noticeable hobby, and that is complaining that Doug Walker still has the gall to exist. Oh yes, Misanthropony was also a just proud hashtag change the channel activist. You know, that movement that was supposed to end Channel Awesome forever and cause the death of Doug Walker's career, and then, well, just go over to Social Blade. Currently, well, let's look at some of these numbers. I took a screenshot on the 28th, sorry. The day beforehand, the 27th, they gained 502 subscribers and almost 600,000 views. Did I mention they already had over 1 million? But Doug Walker's dying any day now. This includes such epic ponage as, at least Nickelback can be pleasant to listen to, unlike your screeching, ear-raping voice. Hashtag change the channel. I don't know how Doug could survive after that. Don't worry though, he's also translated this into video form, most notably with his commentary, responses, nonsense, yeah, that's it, nonsense, on Doug Walker's reviews of Norm of the North, The Jungle Book 2016, and in this case, Deadpool 2. May I remind you, or inform you, that in the case of his Jungle Book 2016 nonsense, he was just so convincing that he had to comment and pin himself, mind you. Considering recent events, I think it's important that more people knew about this. To everyone bashing me for this video, watch this all the way to the end and tell me you're still willing to take Doug's side. Hashtag change the channel. And then links to a 7.33 hour long reading of the Not So Awesome document. You had to guilt people into thinking you're right. If you have to guilt people into taking your side, you are almost always wrong. But again, we're going to focus on his Deadpool 2 response, as he puts it. simply called The Nostalgia Critic is Horrible. Really creative title map. I think we should start off by acknowledging the fact that Misanthropony has never had an original thought in his life. Now that may sound like I'm being mean, and it may be, honestly. However, it's not without reason, as he spends a good amount of this video, the first 3 minutes and a good amount of the final thoughts, not really quoting, closer to downright plagiarizing Mr. Enter, as he at no point acknowledges that he's quoting Enter. And, by the way, I know it wasn't accidental because, one, listen to it, it is literally word for word. But two, I went on his DeviantArt, I don't know why I did this, and looked at one of those stuff about myself posts from a long time ago. It's a few years old now, and under Fave YouTuber, he puts the mysterious Mr. Enter. So no, it was on purpose. Now, the most notable issue with Maps analysis is really how I'm not entirely convinced he even really wanted to make this video. A lot of these are very old points that have been made by now. He mentions the change the channel situation, which failed, by the way, on several different occasions. And even mentions the Indiegogo from near a half a decade ago. In fact, I think it may actually be over a half decade ago. The fact that it occasionally feels like Misanthropony didn't even watch Doug's video is kind of the cherry on top of my proof. Is that how it goes? That's how it goes now. There are several parts where it genuinely doesn't feel like he actively watched the video. Let me give you an example. At one point, he complains that the Rick and Morty and Deadpool arguing comes out of nowhere. Because, to quote him, Rick did not in any way mess with that scene. That is somewhere between him not paying attention and an active lie. Because in the Deadpool 2 review, just before then, Rick was messing with Deadpool, so when he was forming his group, it included a bunch of other fourth wall breakers. Most notably, Lizzie McGuire and Kermit the Frog. And he even mentions that Kermit was skinned and never thought, wait a minute, Kermit the Frog isn't in Deadpool 2. Something seems up about this. This isn't even the worst example. For instance, there's another part where Misanthropony gets on Doug's case for not doing anything to make fun of Rick and Morty memes and instead just quoting them. What actually happened was Deadpool and Rick were arguing about fan bases. This caused Cosplay Deadpool to say you need a really high IQ to understand Rick and Morty, to which Rick shot him for saying. I'll give him that joke isn't all that funny, but that was the joke, that Cosplay Deadpool's annoying. And as such, he was shot. I'll give you, it's not one of my favorite NC jokes. It's not one I particularly laughed at, but that was the joke. You can't just say they did nothing with it because what they did with it wasn't very good. And by the way, he shows Cosplay Deadpool getting shot in his video. Or how about that very dishonest moment where he speeds up the opening argument between Deadpool and Rick in order to make it look like these skits are bad because they go on for too long, when that isn't a valid complaint. If what they're saying there is funny, then it doesn't matter how long it goes for. I can take a scene from, say, Tommy Boy, which I think's a pretty funny movie, that goes on for a little long, maybe one of the interviewing scenes, and say, "This goes on for too long," well, speeding it up so you can't hear the dialogue, and then use that as proof that Tommy Boy is bad. But I just left out the most important part of a joke. The joke! What? And behold, I just debunked in 10 minutes what took Misanthropony 40 minutes to say. I figured I should also quickly address the point about Doug just wants money. Yeah, he runs a business and wants to be able to eat. That's kind of a necessity. Put down the manifesto. I'm done talking about Misanthropony now. Anyway, I should actually note, it has officially been 30 days. Well, actually a little over 30 days. And neither that kid Douglas, Night Tie-Dye, or whoever the third one was, I honestly forget him, and I'm not even bothering at this point to look it up, have signed the cease and desist they themselves were supposed to write. Or mailed it back to me. As such, I can legally sue them, I think, or at the very least, scream very loudly on Twitter about it. As I will. Anyway, I was gonna follow up this segment, by the way, with something about Brett Thornberry, aka Golden Fox, which he has to name that his Twitter name, by the way. So I can't actually legally say that. Or maybe that's not his name, I don't know. But anyway. So, however, he hasn't done a single thing interesting, so I'm not even bothering. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. He did a 10 words or less on every AVGN episode of 1 through 100. However, again, he didn't really give me much to talk about there. I mean, at worst, he kind of more focused on the games and the nerd episode, but that's to be expected. And he did an update where he talked about a lot of personal stuff, and I just kind of feel bad making fun of that. So let's end by talking about the E4B. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I brought the bathrobe. Let's put this baby on. Yeah. You see, this show does have cotton. Did I put this up down? No, I didn't. It just... So, what does the E4B have to say this week? First off, a few of Lily Pete's videos were taken down. Most notably, her In a Minute on Sisters and an MLP episode, Sisters being from Teen Titans. She said, re-uploaded due to people flagging a video with no tags as misleading tags. To which an E4B contributor said, or submitted, I guess, or maybe once you're obviously lying, I think he means again, and the video was actually taken down because you used an episode from a show that has 3 companies that go after anyone that uses most of their show for any reason. Apparently, the all-knowing eyes over at E4B can tell Lily Pete is lying over something that only Lily Pete would know. And what's their evidence Pete is lying? I don't know, that's why I'm asking you. My camera? Why won't you answer me, camera? Space Mare also said, it's always misleading tags with Lily. Never does she mention it's a privacy complaint or copyright problem. I don't know why I made Space Mare sound like a Valley Girl. Actually, she has mentioned copyright problems before. Remember that big Respect the Artist thing? It was a movement so important, not even the people who contributed to it remember. I remember, though, because I broke it down quite a few times. Yeah, I know, not much to cover this week. Oh well. I'm Ephrom, and good night. Hello, it is I, Bathrobe Ephrom Josine, the most intellectual person on the entire internet. I am here to give you all a quick PSA. You see, a lot of people think that Richard and Mortimer is actually the smartest show on television. That is, however, wrong. What most of these people do not know is Richard and Mortimer are actually the two incestuous Canadians from South Park. Why they don't know this, I don't know. The actual smartest show to ever hit the airwaves is Frasier, which has been declared the most intelligent show to ever hit the telly by intelligentpeople.uk. And you know it's true because they're from the UK. Therefore, they're right. For that matter, did you know that the people who watch Frasier, on average, have 50 more IQ points than those who watch Rick and Morty? I bet you didn't. And my source for this is .com. And with a source like that, how could you deny it? That is all. Bathrobe Ephrom Josine, signing out. I don't know why I did the little salute.